In this update, we've got a big snowstorm along with two strong cold fronts, and that second front is more potent, and that looks to bring a first freeze for areas further south heading into next week. So let's take a look at the surface map. This morning, we got a first initial front that's right now draped across portions of Denver and central Kansas. Then we've got that cold Canadian air moving in from the northwest that has numerous winter storm watches and winter storm warnings this morning, with snow starting to fly across that region. And then further south, we have a strong upper level low that's moving into West Texas, producing some very heavy rain. And the problem with this, it's moving very slow. So I'm definitely concerned about flash flooding going into later on this afternoon into the overnight hours. In fact, the Weather Prediction Center has now upgraded this to a moderate risk for excessive rainfall. So these areas in red, essentially west of the Fort Worth region, literally could pick up 4 to 6 inches of rainfall later on this afternoon into the overnight time frame. And they've actually extended the slight risk that now does include the Dallas-Fort Worth area all the way up into the Oklahoma City region, into the Tulsa region. This area could also pick up another 1 to 3 inches of rainfall into the overnight hour. So they do have flood watches draped across the Wichita Falls region, into the Abilene region, west of the Fort Worth region. Then these could actually extend a little bit further east, as some of the high resolution guidance is definitely coming in a little bit more bullish, because the fact that we have 2-inch per hour rainfall rates and just the slow moving nature of this upper level low into the overnight hours. And I'm pretty excited because I now have my own POW Weather App. You can literally have POW in a pocket. I got it on both devices. That does include the Google Play Store as well as the Apple Store. So you can find it there and you can download it, or you can actually just click on this link in the description below and download it to your phone yourself. And let me know what your thoughts are. And if you hadn't subscribed to my channel, please do so, because I do daily content on this channel. So let's take a look at the setup going forward. And here's that initial storm, that upper level low down there in the Texas region into Oklahoma. The very slow moving nature. This is about 4 o'clock this afternoon. Some of the latest high resolution guidance is definitely up the ante on this rainfall estimates. Likely 2 to 4 to 6 inches of rain draped across this region. Then the same time, we've got that heavy snow that's going to be still falling up here into the Dakotas, back through Montana, as well as into Wyoming. That's going to start diving southeast. And then we have our initial upper level low that will be continue to move across very slow. This is 6 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. Look at the slow nature of this system. That's why we're expecting some flash flooding into the overnight hour. So definitely just have to be on high alert if you leave in the evening time frame, because flash flooding could definitely rise these these roads pretty quickly. And definitely it's, do not drive on something that you cannot see the bottom. It only takes about 6 inches to elevate your car and take it downstream, and it becomes disastrous after that. So further north, yeah, we've got the heavy snow still flying across a good part of the Northeast. That snowstorm will start to wind up. Now we're talking areas into the Boise area. That actually extends, will be entering the Utah region, goes into Wyoming. And now we're talking northern portions of Minnesota, where we still have some very heavy rain that will be inundating portions of Iowa as well as into Minnesota, going into the Chicago region, back into portions of Wisconsin. A piece of it does clip portions of Michigan, but there's the overall snow on some of the high resolution guidance just in the next 48 hours, and it maxes out right around 28 inches, guys. And that's, of course, the higher terrain, but some of those higher mountain regions could pick up 1 to 2 feet of snow across this regions. Portions of the lower elevations across Montana and Wyoming easily could pick up almost a foot of snow. So that's definitely our first bona fide snowstorm, of the season. But it's also concerning of just the very heavy rain that could unfold across the deep south the next 48 hours. So yes, some of these high resolution guidance is picking up possibly 10 inches of rainfall across this region into the overnight hours. So essentially from Abilene west of Fort Worth, sneaking into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, extending into the Oklahoma City region, into the Tulsa region. This extends into the Kansas region and goes all the way up into northern portions of Missouri, through Iowa, and goes across Wisconsin into Illinois, through portions of Indiana, but especially heading into Michigan, up here towards the Great Lakes. And then it's going to be very windy too. So that first initial front, back behind that front, you could be looking at some 40, 50, upwards to 60 mile per hour wind gust. I'm not really concerned about, say, severe storms, but we definitely have windy conditions for, late October with these two powerful cold fronts that will be inundating the area. So here's the first front. So this is Friday. This is the less potent front, if you will. But, this air mass is fairly shallow, and as shallow air masses they're dense and they sink, and they typically travel faster than what the models display. So don't be surprised if you live up there and say the Dallas-Fort Worth area and say, hey, you might be even cooler than what the models depict. That's the cold front shifting a little bit further south. So we could have it stalled across that region, and that also could produce yet another round of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. But back behind it, that chillier air mass extends. Those are high temperatures, folks, into Montana with that blanket of snow across those regions. So it's definitely going to be feeling a lot more like winter up there across the Montana region going into the end of October. And it's all because of the EPO. This is the latest teleconnections, and look at that nosedive. It's below a -5 deviation. That's some serious colder air for this time of year. And that gives you an indication. It plunges all the way through Texas and heads to Mexico. So it heads south. And then look at the rapid rise after that. It starts to modify as you shift eastward. So I think that's what this air mass is going to do. Got a one-way ticket to Mexico, and then it's going to shift eastward, but it's also going to moderate as it shifts eastward as well. So that's likely what's going to happen as we head towards that Halloween time frame. But between now and then, we've got more rain to talk about across central Texas with that first initial cold front, and then that producing some heavier rains that will extend back in the same regions of Missouri, back into the Illinois region. And then there's the colder air still more or less compressed up there across Idaho and Montana, as well as in the Dakotas. It's really not until Saturday where we have that kind of next initial surge, and really on Sunday. So here's the Saturday setup with these temperatures in the afternoon. The demarcation line of that second front now has a stronger push going southbound, dropping those temperatures into the 40s into the afternoon, into the Illinois region, through the 50s in Indiana, and of course further south you still got those 80s and widespread 70s across much of the southeast. And it's one of the things about the southeast, because it definitely moderates as it shifts eastward. A lot of these areas in the southeast really don't get the cold front, and they definitely don't get the rain. So you miss out on both fronts out of this deal. You just kind of remain high and dry for the next week. So here's that second front. Now the second front is going to be a little more potent. It's going to sink a little bit faster and bring the snow line further south as well. So now areas in Nebraska should start seeing the snow line and the snow showers into their area. And that actually could sneak into portions of Kansas. But here's the latest icon, in which, I think I favor this model because it kind of sees the colder air a little bit sooner than, some of the other global guidances, and even say the NAM. And this travels it pretty fast. So this is actually Sunday afternoon. It actually reaches it all the way into the Houston region, heading into San Antonio. Most models are even further north than this. But remember, this is a colder air mass. We've got the teleconnections in our favor, and it's dense and it sinks. And I think it is going to be traveling faster than what a lot of models depicted it right now. So I don't want you being surprised, because it's got about a 30-degree drop to it. I mean, right? So these are afternoon temperatures 42 degrees, upper 30s in West Texas. Yes, that's some colder air for October standards further south, and that's everybody gets in the action by the time we head into Monday, Tuesday, and we've got that heavier rain. So it's just going to be a nasty, raw day across Oklahoma and Kansas, good part of Texas here. Look at the snow flying all the way into Kansas, into the Denver region. I get a lot of questions. Hey, when's our first snow in Denver? It's coming, guys. It's coming this weekend into the Denver region, and it's going to be just a chilly, raw day as temperatures are in the 40s, wind chills are in the 30s. You got heavy rain and you got wind. So it's just one of those going to be a nasty day to be outside. Nevertheless, further south. But look at that 5,000 foot temperatures. That gives you an indication the EPO is sharply negative, and then it's cold air aloft, and that will sink to the surface, and that will sink all the way down into Mexico by the time we wake up going into that Monday afternoon time frame. And look at the deviation with the EPO going positive again right after that. That's why you see those warmer temperatures up here to the northeast, because it starts to moderate as it starts to shift eastbound and start diving southeast as well. Then that second front, there's the cold front, will bring additional rains across these same regions. And then with the second front, it's a little bit more potent. It becomes more or less from Canada, if not almost the Arctic for October standards. And it's typically the driest air. And behind that, it's going to be pretty high and dry. So what that's going to do, that's going to clear the atmosphere out just in time for Halloween. So you guys that have big plans for Halloween, you're in luck, because snow will be gone, the rain will be gone. We just got the chilly temperatures to contend with, but it's going to be nice weather for those trick-or-treaters, and that high pressure sinks, and you got lighter winds by then, and you got clearer skies, and that means the temperatures are going to be allowed to drop in the evening hours. Look at the surface map with that 1042 high pressure parked over the middle of the country. That's some cold air underneath that, folks, and there's not much happening for your Halloween across the board. So that's a good thing. It's going to be really nice for people that have a lot of plans. It's just a busy day. And then behind that, we've got all the drier air that will be moving in on the backside. So what that's going to be doing is it's going to clear the atmosphere out, and it's going to allow those temperatures to start sinking and bring the freezing line further south. So areas into the Oklahoma region, into Missouri, into Arkansas, into Kentucky, going back into West Virginia, even into portions of the Texas Panhandle. A lot of these areas will likely be experiencing their first freeze of the season by then. This is November 1st, guys. So this would be literally a week away from today. So I'm giving you plenty of advance notice to take care of your plants, because I do feel we've got the coldest temperatures so far this fall will be coming by the middle of next week. And with the skies clearing, those temperatures are going to be allowed to drop further south. So don't be surprised. You've got your first at freeze and frost warnings across these areas as we extend in the next week. And look at the latest update from the Climate Prediction Center. Has that blue, that purple, that 20 to 30 degree below average temperatures in the heart of the middle of the country, and then it moderates as we shift eastbound, and then there's the heavier rain swath. So we got the combination of Norma's gone, but we got the slow moving nature of the upper level low, and we've got two cold fronts that will spell very heavy rainfall across Texas, Oklahoma, and the northern portions of Louisiana, Arkansas, getting into Missouri, as well as into Illinois, portions of Kentucky, into Tennessee, and heading up into Indiana, Ohio, back into Wisconsin and Michigan. Those are the favorite areas to get the heavier rain between now and next Wednesday. And then, of course, the Southeast, like I mentioned, you just kind of miss out on all fronts of this deal, and it's more or less moderated as you shift up into the Northeast. But there's the heavier snows. You got the first initial snow band that comes through portions of Montana through the Dakotas, and then that second initial band that will bring snow for the Denver region through Nebraska, and then snow flurries as far south as Kansas. You know, Iowa back into Wisconsin, even portions of Illinois could actually see some snow flurries out of the sky by then. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. I do like this video. Definitely check out my winter forecast after this update and catch the next update while I protect you before and after the storm.